Okay, so we are joined here today by Ed Farrar and Anna Pugh. Ed, Anna, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do. We'll start with you, Ed.
Thanks so much, Dave. It's really great to be on the podcast again. So my name's Ed Farrar. Thanks for the introduction. I'm a medical doctor by background. I graduated medical school in 2015 and very shortly after joined the Air Force. And the original plan for me was to train as a surgeon in the Air Force. But during my time in the military, I developed mild tinnitus, and I got used to it fairly quickly. But during the time in the military, I saw a large number of men and women with actually, unfortunately, severe tinnitus, and it was having a big impact on their quality of life. And in speaking to these people, I realized, okay, well, there's a big problem here. As we know, it's very difficult to access any kind of help if you have tinnitus. And of course, there's no cure. Effective treatment does exist in the form of cognitive behavioral therapy, but to access this here in the UK can take months if you're lucky, perhaps over a year if you're unlucky. So I got together with my co-founder, George, who is a doctor in the Navy, also has tinnitus himself. He suffered with it a bit more than I did. And we thought, okay, we've got an opportunity to use the skills we've learned as doctors and also in the military to create a digital scalable solution for tinnitus that could hopefully help not just people in the UK, but people all over the world. And it was around this time we were sort of exploring a few early ideas. And it was around this time we met Anna. And actually, Anna, I remember, reached out to me. I think I posted something on LinkedIn, and Anna was very excited to get in touch. And it was, of course, really, really amazing that she did reach out, because I suppose we wouldn't be where we are today if you hadn't done.
Anna, you want to go off that and just sort of...
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Hi, Dave. It's lovely to be back. I'm Anna Pugh. I'm a hearing therapist, audiologist, a very long-standing. I won't go into when I trained, but I've been around for a while. And I was very aware that I couldn't reach as many people as I want to. There's only, I'm only me. I've been into training and taught people, but it's very much about that interaction with people. And I was flirting with the idea of an app, but I have no technical skills. So I had no idea how to make an app, although I had an idea about I'd really like one. And Ed posted something. I was like, there might be the very thing. And so I was really excited. And together and with Lily and with Jake and with the other people in the team, it's very much a team effort. It's been astonishing. And, I posted the other day that we'd now hit 100,000 sessions, which is, I get very emotional about it. I think that's just astonishing that we can make a difference to people and help them manage their tinnitus. I have tinnitus as well. My tinnitus is not very friendly and very aggressive and very loud and very intrusive at times. So it's some of most of the treatments on the app and most of the ideas in the app I've used for myself as well as my patients. But one of the things that's fantastic about the app is that it's made me rethink about how I deliver my own therapy, my one-to-one therapy, and how the app has changed my traditional thinking. And it's all thanks to Ed and George's sort of leadership on that. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, I think we're going to come back to that 100,000 person mark, if you will, because I think that's such a unbelievable milestone. And I think it is such a testament of like the outsized impact that you're now making. Like you had identified early on, I really like being able to help people. This is kind of my life's work. This particular facet of audiology. And now you're really able to do that through the help of Ed and his team and everything that you're doing at Otto. So I guess, Ed, I'm curious to hear from you a little bit, the genesis of asking you two back on This Week in Hearing. You had come on my original, the first time I talked to both of you was on Future Ear, but I saw that you had this huge raise. So wanted to just give a huge shout out to that. And that you're also part of the current Y Combinator class, which is a a huge honor. So if you wouldn't mind just going through both the raise, maybe some of the process that went involved there, explaining what Y Combinator is and the significance of that. Because for me, as somebody that has followed that space really closely, it's really exciting to see kind of one of our own within this industry be part of this cohort. It's a big deal. So wanted to kind of just kick things off right there.
Well, thank you, Dave. That's very kind. And I remember when we spoke last time, I think it was around a year ago, actually, we'd only very recently launched the app. And just to recap, Otto is a mobile app that allows anyone to instantly access digital tinnitus support. And it's all evidence-based, bringing together the sort of the latest therapeutic techniques that Anna uses routinely in her practice. So the funding round came together. We decided we wanted to grow Otto. We wanted to grow the team. We wanted to reach more people internationally, and we wanted to validate what we were doing in the app was effective. The support that we were providing was having a real world impact on people's lives. And obviously to do all those things costs money. So we thought, okay, we've got a huge market opportunity here, a big problem that's having a real world impact on people's lives all over the world. Let's raise some money and grow faster and do these things that we wanted to do and get to the sort of the point of help for everyone all over the world. So we raised £510,000. We closed around in November last year, primarily angel investors, but also a few European funds as well. And yeah, the investors have been hugely supportive so far. So really thankful to that. Now, Y Combinator is, I'm sure many of your listeners probably won't have heard of it, but in the startup world, it's generally regarded to be sort of the top startup accelerator. It's the accelerator that all startups try to get into, and we're very lucky to be part of this current cohort. And we're going to use this to sort of really try and do as much learning as possible in a short space of time about our users, about how to grow the business, how to raise more money, business partnerships, that kind of thing, and use the experience to really supercharge the growth of Otto and reach more people around the world. So yeah, I suppose there's two focuses really of this accelerator, this 3-month program. The first focus will be improving the product and ensuring that we're delivering the best possible experience, the best help for people with tinnitus. And the second sort of thing is growth. So reaching more people with tinnitus around the world. We're currently available all over the world, but sort of our main user base is in the UK, US, and some in Canada and Australia. So we want to grow that number and ensure that we're delivering value to more people around the world with tinnitus. So the program's 3 months, we're halfway through now, finishes in March. And in March time, we'll raise another funding round of a higher magnitude than the one last time, of which we'll use to, again, further continue to develop the product, grow the team, and just do things generally faster. So really exciting time for the company.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Like you said, it's been about a year and I'm just blown away with the progress that you've made. Like, getting into Y Combinator is a huge deal. Having this raise, like you now have some money to put toward the development of this. Anna, from where you sit, as somebody that's just sort of come into this world of a startup working here, what's your experience been like, and what's your sort of impression of what you're trying to all do with Otto in general?
Yeah, it's been astonishing listening to Ed and George and the team talking about the way that the accelerator has worked and the encouragement that they're getting is great validation for us that we know that we're making a difference in the real world, but also making a commercial product that people will want to invest in and want to buy and want to use, all of those things. So it has longevity as well, which is really important. And some sustainability and some opportunities to grow as well, which is really important. So that's exciting. For me, quite often, if I'm honest, I'm out of my depth sometimes when I listen to them talking. I have no idea what any of this means. But then on other bits, when we're talking about the user experience and we're getting some real manageable data, which Ed and George have to use to demonstrate effectiveness and raise money. All of that stuff is brilliant, and it's all powerful to reflect back on my therapy and to change what we're delivering and the content, and making sure that we're meeting people's needs and expectations. And so being able to have the time, which is what the funding has given us, and the resources and the staff to enable us to do all of that is great. I mean, when there were only a few of us, it was really difficult. And if I'm honest, it was very much Otto is kind of something that happens on a Tuesday afternoon. And now it's, we've got full-time staff really drilling in on it, getting some of the real content and the data together to give Ed and George the information that they need to go forward, which is wonderful, and reflecting back on for me, for therapy and for content. So it works in both ways.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I love your vantage too, Anna, as somebody that this is like your passion, and you're really being able to manifest it in a very powerful way through this app. I think it's just so neat. So Ed, I'm curious, like in 2022, what's going to be the big focus this year for you all? I know that obviously right now you're in the throes of Y Combinator, and then obviously there's a raise that's going to be following on the heels of that. You sort of laid out the key high level objectives, but I guess getting down a little bit into the weeds, like where is the development going to be focused around, and what ways can you improve this based on just the first year of doing this? Like it just feels like such a frontier and so exciting of like what can be done now that you have this application that can facilitate what had historically been done more in like an in-person setting. So you have this ability to really proliferate this type of science. Where's your head at with what 2022 looks like?
Yeah, it's a hugely exciting year for us. So our end goal is to build the definitive solution for anyone with tinnitus, a definitive digital solution. And what I mean by that is that if someone has tinnitus, the place to go is Otto. And we are only sort of we've only taken sort of the first steps in that journey. Now we've got loads and loads of work ahead of us to make some significant progress and achieve that goal. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've made a great start with the app, and the app is helping thousands of people around the world with tinnitus. But we can help these people more, and we can provide a more effective solution than what we're currently offering. And in order to do that, there's a whole number of things we can do, and whether that be improving product features, delivering therapy to them in different ways, or optimizing the way in which we deliver the therapy to them, delivering new sounds, and sort of overall improving the sort of the content in the app and the delivery of that content. So that's the first thing I would say. And we want to really be optimizing so that people are getting the best experience that they can get through this method of delivery. I think the second thing I would say is we've just launched you may have heard, we've just launched a partnership with Nuheara. So Nuheara, international hearable manufacturer, I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with, who build a really cool product that allow sort of augmented hearing, I suppose, through these hearable devices. And in partnership with Nuheara, we are delivering a world first when it comes to holistic tinnitus management. So a combination of mobile app, digital device, digital support, plus the hearable or earbud. That really is sort of something that's not really been done before when it comes to hearables and when it comes to hearing health in general. So we really want to lean into that partnership and really help both our customers and Nuheara's customers get the most out of that. And that's something we look to continue for sort of the next and hopefully many years to come. And then of course we want to grow the company. So I mentioned the growth. We want to be reaching people in new ways around the world. So how we reach people, whether that's paid marketing, whether that's organic marketing or referrals, that kind of thing, and just working out how we can reach as many people as possible with Otto. But yeah, the primary focus really is the product, optimizing the product to deliver the most value to people with tinnitus. And I suppose the other thing I'd add to that as well, and maybe Anna can elaborate here, but we're very much focused at the beginning on the beginning of someone's tinnitus journey. When someone is first looking for a solution, when they're looking online, they're speaking to their audiologist, they're looking in the App Store for that solution for tinnitus, and they come to us. But we need to figure out how we can continue to help people throughout their sort of because tinnitus isn't curable, throughout their lifetime with tinnitus, whether it be someone that's had tinnitus for 30 years or was diagnosed a few months ago. How do we continue to help these people, whether it be maintain their habituation, help them through a spike? And that's something that I think is really uncharted territory with digital solutions in general, but I think a real big opportunity for us.
It's an enormous opportunity for us, and it's one of the things that, as the content team, are working on, is how to provide that sustainability for people. Because as Ed said, tinnitus, we deal with tinnitus and we learn how to cope with tinnitus, but it doesn't cure, it doesn't stop it. We're not offering a cure. So there will be times when your tinnitus raises again and you need that little bit of extra support. So we're looking at embedding that attachment, that support throughout our content, so that the app becomes meaningful to somebody, so that when they have a bad day, they can think of Otto and they've got something there that can help them. And we're doing that, as Ed said, through our marketing and our media, but also our relationship with companies like Nuheara, which I can't explain to you how excited I was about that when Ed first sort of mentioned it. I was like, oh, I think they're fabulous. I was very excited. And it's because it's such a novel idea to be in someone's ear and to have such a cool piece of kit as well. It's fantastic. But also it's the people element as well. So we're working with audiologists, we're working with other providers to look at how they get support to people and how they work with the people that they see in their clinics every day. So it's getting both of those elements right is really important. And that's why we're spending a lot of time in the beginning making sure that we get that foundation correct. And it's all our therapies are evidence-based. So we need to justify and qualify all the things that we write before it's put into the app. So there's a lot of that preparation work, as well as all the fantastic marketing and social media stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, a few things here. So regarding the Nuheara partnership, I agree. I think that's so exciting and so novel. For me, the way I look at it is, we've kind of been in this nascent era where you have all of this software that's kind of emerging and bubbling up. So Otto fits into that. And then you have everything that's happening on the hearables and the TWS side of things, where you just have this massive, massive proliferation of earbuds and this normalization where people are walking around with things in and around their ears for extended periods of time. And so now you sort of get to the convergence, and this is where things get really exciting. And kind of like my initial take for this was, well, now we've just entered into the first or one of the first instances where you have a hearable company that has hearable specific apps that can be downloaded for those devices. And so I think hearing health is a really obvious area of applications that we're going to see more and more of this, where you'll just be able to buy, a piece of hardware, and then you'll download the types of applications that are unique for you as a user. And so if, let's say my brother and I both have, a pair of Nuheara IQ buds. I have tinnitus. He doesn't, he goes and he downloads something that's, in line with what he wants, whereas I download this particular application. And so you can kind of follow this out, where it is this inversion of how these devices get priced, which is the hardware sort of gets commoditized, and then you have the software application layer that gets layered on top of it, a la the smartphone. I mean, it really is like pretty akin to the smartphone. So
Yeah.
it's incredibly indicative, I think, of the future and what's coming. Is there's going to be lots and lots of these types of applications, I think. And so I think it is really exciting, is like you kind of follow the trajectory of this out a little bit. And what's really tantalizing is this opportunity where you do have that sort of proactive element to this, where, I have the, my everyday pair of earbuds, these hearables that have the tinnitus therapy baked into it. And over time, it actually starts to understand when maybe I'm actually in need of something like that. So it just starts to engage me with the tinnitus therapy proactively. That's the kind of stuff we're moving toward. And those are the doors that are going to be opened here. And so that's where I look at this and say, man, we are really moving into this new frontier where it goes from being something that is really kind of inaccessible, in the sense that if you do have debilitating tinnitus, let's say, you have to schedule a time with a professional, meet them in their clinic, get some sort of, therapy materials that you're going to do, and you're going to do this on your own. Now we're moving to this point where you have Anna, who, basically is able to kind of port her knowledge and expertise into something like Otto, and it can reach 100,000 people in a calendar year. That to me is the foundation of a way in which you actually can combat something like tinnitus at scale. So that gives me a lot of encouragement and hope about kind of like what's on the horizon here, is that these things in isolation are powerful, but when you start to kind of combine these building blocks that are all starting to kind of formulate and mature in tandem, that's when the fun really begins.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I agree completely. And with the recent regulatory change in the US, you're so right. The things are going to change a lot over the next 12, 18 months. And I think we've been very lucky with the timing of that, when we can work with these really exciting companies. We can work with a really exciting company like Nuheara to deliver better support where it may be needed, at a probably better, many cases, better value as well. So really, really exciting timing for us.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess, kind of going back though to some of the different things that were mentioned, previously, I do think that this whole idea of audiologists are going to be your biggest advocates. So it's kind of a twofold question that I have. So the first half is, how have you gotten 100,000 users or sessions, if you will, in your first year? And, just disclose whatever you want. You don't have to give away any secrets or anything like that. But I am curious what your current strategy is. And then, without making this too much of a loaded question, are you looking at the hearing professional as your sort of auxiliary workforce and advocates that can spread the good word of Otto far and wide and make their patients aware that this exists? So I guess, again, let's start just with, how did you get to the point to where you are now, and what tactics are successful? And then, are you looking into the future of utilizing the current labor force to your betterment?
Yeah, really, two really interesting questions. On the first one, I've just asked you to think about the number of people with tinnitus. What is the first thing they do when they realize they've got this horrendous condition they think is going to ruin their life? And what most people do is they Google it, or they go on the App Store and they search for something. And we've been able to really take advantage of that. Firstly, by some optimization of the App Store landing pages. A large number of our downloads have come from people just searching the App Stores, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, but also optimizing content for web. So we've got a whole load of free resources online on our website that we've put a lot of time into making and delivering value to people through this content, in the hope that after they've read these articles, they will then go on to download the app and give it a try. And that's been really successful for us. So I'd say up until sort of the majority of last year, that was the majority of our growth, really. And then this year, we're looking into a number of other sort of growth channels. I mentioned paid marketing and a few other things we're looking into as well. In answer to your second question, we want to empower audiologists as well as individuals with tinnitus And we think Otto is an amazing tool to help audiologists deliver evidence-based care to their clients, to their patients. And that ranges from audiologists like Anna with decades of experience of audiologists like Anna that know tinnitus better than anyone else, all the way to the other end of the spectrum of audiologists that are actually very uncomfortable with managing people with tinnitus or helping people with tinnitus. And we hope that the app can actually be used at any one of these points. And I'm sure Anna will be able to back me up on this, but I think Otto can be used as a healthcare professional, whatever level of experience you have with tinnitus, as either an adjunct to the care you're currently providing and the care you want to provide, with your regular follow-ups and with your spoken in-person therapy or online therapy, or as a tool for audiologists to use to say, look, I'm sorry, I don't have much experience with tinnitus, or I don't offer much tinnitus support, but I know this really great app that you can use, and I can explain to you how to get the most out of it. So that's the aim here. It's all about empowerment, and not just the empowerment of the individual using the app to take control of their own care pathway and their own journey, but also of the healthcare professional as well.
I'd certainly sort of repeat that completely. It is all about getting audiologists engaged and empowered by the app. Lots of audiologists, as you know, cover such a wide range of skills, and we include what you call in America the hearing aid professionals and all those kind of guys as well. It's very much such a huge range of skills. So some people will be great at balance, some people will be great at hearing aid technology, some people will be great at rehabilitation, some people will be great at tinnitus. And it's really hard to be great at everything. And so, what the app offers is, for those people, it's an additional support for you as a professional, that you can have confidence that it's evidence-based, that you're giving somebody the support that's qualified, that's ratified, that we know what we're talking about, which is really important, I think, as well, for your own professional credibility. And yes, a lot of our contacts are from hearing professionals who know about us, who've heard about us, who've I've witted on about, nagged to, who will refer their, bless them, who will refer their patients, and the people that they work with, because it's an ongoing thing. Even if you're really good at tinnitus support, you're only going to see your patient sporadically, once every 3 months, once every 6 months, once every year, depending on your contract with that person. So Otto can be there, daily therapy, daily support, those anchor spots when people are having crises, that information, that signposting, all of that stuff is within our app. So it gives people a lot more than just a masking sound generator, which a lot of tinnitus apps tend to be. It's much more than that. Well, I'm saying it's much more than that because this is my time to be saying it's much more than that. I can show off a bit, but that's what it is. It's much more than just something that makes a noise in somebody's ear.
Yeah, that's great. I just think it's really interesting. It goes in and follows along a lot of these conversations that have been discussed lately, which is kind of like, in this era, as a hearing professional, how do you differentiate? And I think that the answer is it's really multifaceted. And I think there's a lot of optionality, but I think that you do have to do things to stand apart. And I think that just even being well-versed in what's available, something like this, like if you said tinnitus isn't really your cup of tea and you prefer to just kind of refer that on to something that, you can still have a finger on the pulse and you can engage them on the progress that they're making, but it's something that's being done on a routine basis, sort of, it's more patient-centric care. I mean, they're able to do that on their own without your intervention, which it screams scalability there as well. So as we kind of come to the close here, I just wanted to give you two the option, like any kind of closing thoughts, anything that you want to share, knowing that most of the audience here will be industry professionals and hearing professionals. So just curious of how you guys think, the last message that you want to share.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dave. And it's been a really, really interesting discussion. So thank you so much for having us on. Look, I'm always really interested in hearing from people that are interested in tinnitus, interested in hearing health. It's such an exciting time to be in this industry at the moment, and I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to get involved. So Anna will testify that I'd love to speak to new people and love to make connections. So please do get in touch if you'd like to talk about Otto, perhaps if you think we can help you. From a perspective of from an audiologist perspective, if recommending Otto to your patients is something you should be interested in, then please let us know. We have some information on our website and some information I can email you to as well. You can either connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email. My email address is ed@joinotto.com. I think this is something that can, I hope can really help clients, can really help patients. And we've seen it in the audiologists that we're currently working with. So please do get in touch. But I don't know if there's anything you want to add there, Anna.
Only that, give it a try. Like listening to hearing aids when you get a new product, give it a listen, give it a try, see what you think, and let us know. We're very keen to get feedback from users and from professionals so that we can grow and develop and change and learn. So give it a listen and let us know what you think.
Fantastic. Well, thank you two so much. Best of luck with Y Combinator, the next fundraise, and just everything that you guys are building. I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to have you on again in the not too distant future to get another update and hear the progress that you've made then. So thanks, everybody, and we will chat with you next time.